Hello and welcome to another video tutorial from dscardworld.com. We are a US-based vendor for genuine and high-quality Nintendo DS flash cards. Our cards come individually tested and sourced right from the manufacturer so that we know that you're getting something that works. We offer one-day order processing and email support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're here today to talk about the M3i Zero and how to flash it. The M3i Zero is one of the few cards that allows you to flash the firmware of the card in case Nintendo comes out with a new update that blocks cards like they did with 1.4. Other cards that allow you to flash the firmware would be Ace Card and iEdge, to name a couple. But the M3i Zero was the first card that let you flash the firmware without use of a Nintendo DS via use of a USB flashing cable. Now we have here our product page with the M3i Zero. You can take a look at it there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the micro SD card for you to flash the M3i with. So let's go to download software. Okay. And then we're going to pick the M3i software here off our list. So just click and download that. And I'm just going to download this to the desktop. Okay. Now the software we have in zip format, so you will need WinZip or another unzip program to open it up. And I'm just going to let that download and we'll get right back to this shortly. Okay, looks like that software is downloaded. Excellent. Now the next step is just extract this. So I'm going to extract to the same folder. It'll be just fine. Okay, let that rip. Now the two files of note here are the system folder, and this has all the necessary files to run the M3i Zero once it's ready to go. And then the fcore.dat file is the actual file you use to flash the card. And next thing we're going to do is prepare the micro SD card we have inserted already. We're going to use a tool here called Panasonic SD Formatter. There's a lot of benefits to using this over the Windows default formatter because this is more fine-tuned and you're less likely to run into problems of like a poorly set up file system or just other problems that can crop up. So it's already detecting the drive that our flash drive is inserted into, and we're going to hit Format and clear off that micro SD card. Okay. And next, we just copy those files right onto the SD card. Oops. Okay, and once that's ready to go, we'll pop that into the M3i Zero and get started on flashing. So we'll see you in a few seconds for the second part of this video. Okay, now that we have the micro SD card prepared with the fcore.dat flashing file, let's take a look at the actual M3i package itself. I know you've all been waiting for this. Ta-da! This is the original and genuine M3i Zero. Don't accept any substitutes because, well, they're not made by the M3 team and won't have their amazing support. Now this is without a doubt, again, one of the top cards in the market. Let's just pop it open and see what we got. Okay, you see here, this is the actual M3i Zero card itself. Build quality is excellent, and it has a side-mounted micro SD card slot. It really does kind of look like a regular DS game when it's inserted, which is kind of a plus for some people. Now, what else we got here? We have a micro SD USB adapter. It's quite stylish, M3 branded. Definitely a nice unique little touch for them to put in. And of course the flashing cable itself. See, USB end and an end to insert into the card. Now let's take that micro SD card, pop it in. It may or may not click when you put it in, but it should definitely click when you remove it. So just to be sure, I'll insert it twice. Just like that. It's a spring-loaded slot. And the cable, you can see here the two gold contacts that are not on the back, as well as the arrow here. Now the proper way to insert it is into the slot like this. Just put it in. Now if it's a little loose, just gently squeeze the M3i0 on the top and bottom like that and put it in. That should be able to do this if it's done properly. Now the previous rendition of this card, they put the flashing cable on the left side, but they updated their design so it's now on the bottom underneath the micro SD card slot. So let's get back to flashing this sucker. Okay. Yep. And here we go. You'll see the red light start to blink. The pattern may vary a bit, but that's okay. And if you get a solid red light, don't panic. Just remove the cable from the USB port as well as the card and reinsert it and try again. There is no way for you to possibly harm the M3i0, so you can keep going until it works. Okay, it shouldn't be too long now. There it goes. Okay, the M3i0 should now be flashed. Let's remove that, and we'll boot this thing up. Okay, you'll see it shows up as Danny Phantom here. That's as intended. That's a necessary part of the firmware. And what you want to do, just you tap or hit the A button when it's selected, and it should boot right in. Here you'll see that the firmware is actually dual booted with M3 Sakura and TouchPod. And TouchPod, there are two different ways to go about it. They just have a different feel. I definitely prefer the M3 Sakura. It's just pretty looking. Okay, it's loading up here. Okay, and then you select the region. This only applies to the first time after you flash it. What shows up here is instructions, as well as any files that you have on there, like your legally backed up game files and media files will list right here, and you just scroll up and down to activate them. And you can put them in folders. The system's very intelligent. It will find everything you need. And as well as your media files, you just find it, you select it, and then you hit A, and it will start playing on the top screen with the controls on the bottom. Okay, that's the M3i0, again available from dscardworld.com.